During the rainy season, the width of the Amazon River in some areas reaches about 50 kilometers, or 30 miles. That means if you were to walk that distance on foot, it would take you around 8 hours. Of course, naturally, no one actually walks in the middle of the river, because walking in the middle of that massive body of water is impossible and definitely dangerous. But with this visualization, we can better grasp just how astonishingly wide the Amazon River is. Today, we want to talk about a river whose width is almost as vast as a sea. Still, we're only talking about the widest river in the world. The Amazon is a river whose width sometimes reaches the distance between two cities. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true, and in this video, we want to reveal the story behind the width of the Amazon River. So stay with us until the end of this video so we can better explain how it's possible for a river to be this wide. We'll also answer this question: even though the Amazon holds the record for width, why do so many people still think the Nile is more important than the Amazon? Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself in a wooden boat. The air is really hot and humid. You can hear monkeys calling in the distance and in front of you. As far as the eye can see, there's only water. It feels like you're in the middle of a vast ocean. But no, you're right in the middle of the Amazon River. The Amazon River, especially during the rainy season, from December to May, swells so much that its width reaches 50 kilometers, or about 30 miles. But normally, during the dry season, the width of the Amazon River is between 1 and 10 kilometers. That's roughly half a mile to 6 miles. Of course, that's still not a small number, but as I said, when the tropical rains start, that number becomes unbelievable. Now, one thing that not many people know about is the width of the Amazon River's mouth in Brazil, which in some places is over 330 kilometers, or 200 miles wide. Okay, I know you're surprised, so let's break this down a bit more. The Amazon River is a huge waterway, and its mouth is really complex because of the region's unique geography. But the width of the Amazon's mouth can be measured in several ways. It really depends on which parts you include in the calculation. First, if we only count the main flow of the river, meaning just the main waterway without considering the islands and side branches, its width is relatively narrow. For example, between Kurua Island in the state of Amapá and Jurupari Island in the state of Para, this width is only about 15 kilometers, or roughly 9 miles. Of course, this measurement is very conservative because it only focuses on the main waterway. But if we broaden our perspective a bit and include side branches like the Para River and the floodplain around Marajo Island in our calculations, we're starting to get into the realm of some pretty wild numbers. In this case, from a point called Cabo Norte at the northernmost part of the Amazon's mouth to a place called Ponta near the city of Tijuca in the south of Para state. The width of the Amazon estuary reaches about 325 kilometers, or 202 miles. That's a crazy number, but we still haven't reached the maximum yet. When we consider the entire width of the Amazon estuary, including Marajo Island in the middle, and measure from Cabo Norte to Ponta Padia in the southwest of Marajo, we end up with a number that almost sounds like a joke. That's 205 miles wide, yes, width, not length. Now let me give you an example to make things clearer for you. The length of one of the longest rivers in England, the Thames, is about 346 kilometers, or 215 miles. Now, the Amazon floodplain, with a maximum width reaching 330 kilometers, or 205 miles, is only slightly smaller than the entire length of the Thames River. That means the length of the Thames is only about 16 kilometers longer than the widest part of the Amazon floodplain. Of course, if you're watching this video from Western Asia, Europe, or North America, you probably won't believe it. In short, the sheer width of the Amazon shows the grandeur and geographical complexity of the Amazon River. Now let's get to a challenging question. Why is the Amazon so wide in the first place? Well, the main reasons for the Amazon's unusual width are a few things. The first is the intense tropical rainfall. The Amazon rainforest gets between 2,000 and 3,000 millimeters of rain each year. That means the river is constantly fed by rain. The second reason is its system of tributaries. The Amazon has about 1,100 tributary rivers, like the Madeira and Tapajos rivers. The third reason is the flat and level land of the Amazon plain. When the land has no slope, the water spreads out instead of flowing quickly. So, the Amazon is more like a giant catchment system than a big, fast river like mountain rivers. But here's something even stranger. The first European to lay eyes on the greatness of the Amazon River was Vicente Yáñez Pinzón, a Spanish captain who, in the year 1500, was sailing his ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when he suddenly noticed something strange. Even though Pinzón was about 300 kilometers, or 186 miles, away from land, he realized that the water flowing beneath his ship wasn't salty. It was almost fresh. But hold on a second. How is it possible to have fresh water in the ocean? Well, this is directly related to the power of the Amazon River. The Amazon is a freshwater river because, like most rivers, it originates from rainfall, melting snow, and glaciers in the Andes Mountains, and along its path, it's fed by thousands of springs and tributaries. In short, the Amazon pours so much fresh water into the ocean that even hundreds of kilometers away from its mouth, the ocean water still tastes fresh. It's unbelievable. But now, NASA researchers say that the amount of water the Amazon pours into the sea is about 55 million gallons per second, which is around 208 million liters per second. What does that mean? It means the amount of water that all of New York uses in 9 years, the Amazon dumps into the ocean in just one day. But when this massive amount of fresh water enters the salty water of the Atlantic Ocean, it creates a noticeable difference in color, temperature, and salinity. These differences are so significant that the entry of the Amazon River into the ocean can even be seen from space. But let's also take a look at the different opinions that exist about the Amazon River. Some scientists believe that the Amazon is the largest in terms of water volume, width, and discharge power. That's exactly why some people call the Amazon the beating heart of planet Earth. But others say that in length, the Amazon is considered the second longest river in the world after the Nile. You should know that according to older measurements, the Amazon is about 6,400 kilometers, or 4,000 miles, and the Nile is 6,650 kilometers, or 4,000 miles. But in recent years, some researchers, including scientists from Brazil's National Institute for Space Research, or INP, have conducted new studies and said that if we consider the Mantaro River branch in the Andes of Peru as the true source of the Amazon, its length reaches 6,992 kilometers, or 4,345 miles. In this way, the Amazon becomes the record holder in every respect. However, the Nile is still officially recognized as the longest river, since there is not yet a global scientific consensus. Many international organizations, like National Geographic and the United Nations, still consider the Nile to be longer, because measuring the length of a river is not an easy task and depends on technical definitions. Some even say that the Mantaro is not a permanent branch or has a seasonal flow, so it shouldn't be counted as the main source. Honestly, when I first found out that a river could be 50 kilometers wide, I was really shocked. We usually imagine rivers as narrow and clear. But what about the Amazon? It's something else entirely. I think that's a symbol of the greatness of nature itself. But what do you think? Would you like to cross right through the Amazon? Or would you rather just look at it on a map? Be sure to write your opinion for me in the comments. But the Amazon River isn't just a river, it's a phenomenon. It's an endless wonder, with every new study revealing a new secret about it. Whether it's in terms of size, water volume, ecosystem, or even culture, this river teaches us that even in the age of the internet and satellites, the world is still full of places that are hard for us to comprehend. Places where nature still shows off its power.